Alrighty, guys, let's dive into it. Going to be covering how you run world-class meetings for your gym, boot camp, or PT studio, right? Now, guys, one of the things that I found over the years of, going from just myself and my business partner working to in one of our facilities is we had like a team upwards of 14 at one stage, is the power of a weekly team meeting. Right. The thing you want to add with a meeting, right? Any meeting is it worthwhile for the people attending and is it positively affecting the business, right? And you can see ones you've probably been to meetings and it's an absolute nightmare to attend, right? And you've also been to some ones where you feel really empowered and really invigorated off the back. And it takes time and it takes planning to really run these events of these team meetings effectively. And I'm going to map out for you today, step by step, right? Every single point that we ran in our team meetings and why, right? To give you an overview of how we did it. And our team meetings each week, they went for an hour and a half to 2 hours. And that's because our team chose to run them for that long so we could get a lot done, and it cut down on the meetings later in the week. We used to do a couple of different meetings, but we just decided to do one really big one, and we just got a ton of work done on a Monday, or one of our gyms did them on a Tuesday, right? And our team, just all our full-timers just worked together like absolute weapons. It kind of became a part of our culture. Now, guys, the first thing with a team meeting is you want to cover your vision, right? Your vision and, why you're here doing what you're doing. So we would cover our vision and then also our core values. So the vision in the clubs that I own is called Code 5. We had a vision or a goal to help 30,000 people lose 5 kilos or more through education and training. Then the values that we covered were community, accountability, gratitude, and celebrating success, and also teamwork. So at the start of the meeting, what we would do is we would pick one of the codes at random, right? And would say, what does it mean to you, this code? Like, what does teamwork actually mean to you? And each person in the team would say 30 seconds or 20 seconds on what they consider like great teamwork and how it like works in our facilities. Then we'd get them to give one example of how they use teamwork within their life, and especially within Code 5 as well, right? We made sure that we constantly, there's no point having a vision and, core values if you're not actually like using it and people aren't living by it, right? So that would be their chance to say, hey, I'm living by the core values. This is what I did. This is how, I celebrated success with our clients, like during the week and things like that. Then we would run through a 20 to 30 minute block of education. Now, it was really important that we knew that having the best trainers within the area is absolutely vital for any business success, right? So we would run through like technical education with them, maybe some system stuff, how to get better on referrals, or, how to deadlift better, how to bench press better, how to be a better coach, right? Every single week they would have that structured training, because our goal was to have someone who started with us and then in a 6 to 12 month period, have them be an absolute weapon and leader within the fitness industry, both with their technical skills, their coaching skills, their, emotional intelligence, how they deal with clients, their nutrition knowledge. There's so many things we have to teach people to be amazing trainers. Unless you're spending that 20 to 30 minutes every week, right? They're just going to fall behind, because there's gyms out there that do, 30 minutes a week or up to like an hour every single week as well, just making their trainers world class. So we'd really focus on that. And that would be an education block at the start of our meeting. Then we'd all come back together and we'd go into the real nuts and bolts of the meeting. So then we'd cover what's happening around the gym. That's events that are happening, anything they need to be aware of, maybe, just generally what's happening, right? It would be, events, maybe, a couple of things that we're doing as trainers. And it would really not be, what's happening over this week. We're always planning what's happening over the next 3 months. So they know that, in July that we're running a referral competition, or we've got, our retreats and things like that. And I kind of talk a lot about making sure that your business is planned 12 months ahead of time. Then, guys, you need to run through your key numbers with your team. Okay, so we'll let them know how many members we had last week, how many active members we have this week, how many sales we closed last week, and what their names were, and would talk about each sale for like 30 to 45 seconds or as long as needed, so they knew their goals, their pain points, what classes they're attending, and things like that. Then we'll also cover the cancels for last week, and we'd all have ownership on that. These are the people that canceled. Here's why. And we'd go, hey, because we have face-to-face and online, you really should never have anyone lose your business, right? Leave your business. So we'll go, hey, Nikki canceled. Here's the reason why. This is what we looked at. This was her attendance over the last couple of weeks. This is what we felt. This is what we can do next time to save someone like Nikki. You really got to make sure they have ownership, and they're the real key numbers that they need to know every week. They want to know that the business is growing. They need to know the new sales. They need to know, the cancels, and that you're tracking in the right direction. Then what we'll do is we'll give the team a weekly focus. Now, this would be becoming from the owner of the facility or the manager and there's many different focuses, but what are we focusing as a team? Is it improving the trainer quality? Is it maybe doing like a little bit of outreach? Is it making sure that the gym's cleaner? There's going to be 2 to 3 focuses that we have as a team every single week to improve the business, right? And you want to clearly state them and go, hey, here's our weekly focus and here's what success looks like. Then what we'll do is we'll go through everyone's Asana, because we believe in 360-degree accountability. We'd open up everyone's Asana. Everyone would open up their own Asana, which is a task tracking tool, and just to make sure that they completed everything. Now, we know whether they completed everything before this meeting, because we're planning this meeting either on the Friday afternoon or like about 3 or 4 hours before. It takes about an hour to plan these meetings really well, and it's something that's always on your mind. You're like, oh, hey, that's a really good idea. I need to bring that up in the meeting next week, right? So we would plan through, did they complete everything in their Asana? And we're also loading the weekly focuses and what's coming up in the events in their Asana throughout these meetings. So we would always run face-to-face meetings. Obviously in COVID, it was online, right? But then what we would do, guys, in these meetings, we made sure we have a laptop so we can load everyone's tasks in there, because there's no point you giving someone a task if you're not going to follow through and make sure they fucking do it, right? That's why we use Asana, because people are forgetful. Like on here, guys, if someone jumped on, a call with me today and goes, hey, Jimmy, can you do this? I'm not going to rely that I'm just going to remember it, because I'm not. There's too much shit going on. I got my missus calling me and I got training and I've got all these things, right? That's why you use Asana and you put the task in Asana, right? And the pure fact is just so, hey, I know you didn't forget about this because it's in your Asana. And that goes a really, really long way to making sure people keep themselves accountable and get everything done. Then we would cover, because every month, right, we were doing a monthly event. It might be a seminar. It might be an excursion workout. It might be, Tough Mudder, something like that, right? Every month we'll do an event because it's really important for retention. So within our meeting, we would cover the upcoming events over the next 3 months, sometimes 6, sometimes 9, depending on how our marketing flow was going and what we needed to hit. And we would ask, are we hitting KPI? Because on all our events, we would set KPIs, how many people we get to Tough Mudder, how many people we get to that excursion workout to Palm Beach, how many people we get in our 8-week internal challenge, right? And we would make sure that we're hitting our targets on our events so we could recheck ourselves. Maybe we might need a big focus on something, or maybe we're like, hey, it's all pretty smooth at the moment. We're all going really well. But that's where you'll see this, we're really big. These meetings, guys, as I'm running through it, it's just planning, making sure you're going to hit targets and do incredibly well and your team know what's happening. Then, guys, something a little bit unique, but we would run through a gym walkthrough, right, with feedback and provide cleaning where necessary. And we did this a little bit different. We would actually get our trainers to walk through, and they imagine it's someone's first day, and our trainers would go through and try and find faults in the gym. So they would go through and be like, that welcome area is really messy. That was if I was a new member, it just looks tardy, right? They'll go into the bathrooms and they would start to think, when we got this walkthrough, we're like, we want you to imagine it's your first time at Code 5 and you're the most judgmental person in the world and you're looking for faults. So then they'll go through bins overflowing. This is here. This is here. And the reason why we did that is we wanted to drive an incredibly high standard, right, of cleaning within our facility. This is before COVID, right? And we used to have a business coach that went through, and he was ruthless, right? He would go through our gyms bang, bang, bang. And I'm like, hey, pretty heavy that him doing that, right? But it's really beneficial, right, to have a look through it subjectively. So then we got our trainers too, because guys, who's the one that keeps your gym really clean and cleanly? It's the trainers. So if they're going through being really ruthless with how they're thinking about it objectively, their cleaning and the way the gym presents just goes to another level. Guys, that would be like cover what's happening in the gym, weekly focuses, KPIs, everything like that. Now would flip the meeting into a retention and referral focus. So the meeting still continues. That's why I said it went for a couple of hours. We used to do 2 meetings, but we just brought it into one. That became a part of our culture. So now we're going into retention and referrals. So then what we'll do is we'll identify the people who hit milestones. 5 kilo loss, 10 kilo loss, 15, 20, 25 or higher in 5 kilo increments, or people who hit PBs in their strength training because we had a strength training component. Now we would have a secret shopper report, which was 23 points that our trainers had to hit within a session. They could never get under 20. Otherwise they would go into training, right? Because people get perfect scores, but we're like, hey, as long as you get 20, 21, 22 or 23 out of the test, you're all good. But we would run through what those points are. And I'm not going to run through it. It takes another 10, 15 minutes, but we would make sure, because if I'm going to test someone on something, I need to make sure they know what the points are and they know how to win with them, right? So that's why we would have that in there, and the trainers would run through and we'll try and make sure we remember all 23. And by the end, all of our trainers would know all 23 points that we're looking for because we have secret shoppers running through. And now we're going to cover some 360 degrees of, feedback again, right? How can we all improve as a team? What can this person do? What can everyone do to get better? So we would run a heat check, right? And we'd cover these points. And this is what was really clear for us and how we wanted our gyms to be run. How intense were the sessions, during the week? Because we wanted everyone training 30% or more harder than what they would if they trained by themselves. So we'd go, hey, how were the sessions? How did it feel? Was it intense enough? How was it compared to this week? What were the weeks that, what were the sessions that were a little bit soft or people got through easy? Right? Then we'd ask the question, are we progressing and regressing our clients correctly in each and every session? Right? Because we're running group training. So we're like, hey, are our really fit people being pushed to the limits and doing, their kettlebell swings with 28 kilos? But then also, do we have our people just starting, right? Doing kettlebells correctly with nice form learning with like the 8s to 12s, right? Are we progressing and regressing our clients correctly? And everyone would have to answer this question publicly. So then we go, hey, we're doing it. Let's make sure we keep doing it. Then we'd ask as a group, how can we make our sessions better? And in this question, guys, this is where we got the best feedback from our trainers who are on the floor. Here's how we can make them better. Here's how we can make them smoother, right? And they're always focused. Every single week, everyone in the business is focused on how we make our session and our product better, because that's the thing that really drives all fitness business. How good is your product? Then we'd ask them, how are we using MyZone? Because MyZone was really big in our facility. Are we using it correctly? Right? And the last question we ask is, how can we use MyZone more efficiently this week? Right? And those 5 questions would give us a heat check of how the session and how the, product quality is going outside of all the contact we do, outside of the sessions and things like that. Right. Then we'll give them the feedback that we get from the secret shoppers, because we would have 5 secret shoppers in our clubs who gave us feedback on the sessions every week. And there was like a 23-point test, which I mentioned earlier. Right. And that's really what gave us feedback, because we're getting feedback from the trainers, but we're also getting feedback from our clients as well. And we tell our clients to be absolutely brutal in these sessions. They're not doing the secret shoppers to be nice. They're doing the secret shoppers to find faults and to find improvements in our business, because that's how you get better. That's how you make your fitness business better every single week. And then, guys, now we're going to flip into like a little bit more of a retention focus. Okay. So we're going to upload and print all the milestone photos. So we identified before who hit a milestone. Then in our gyms, would have little Polaroid pictures and would make sure that we've planned to get the picture, to get it signed and get it up on the board, right? It's a really amazing thing, really gives the person who achieved it amazing sense of like gratitude and, some really cool stuff they've achieved. And also because we would do consults within the gym, it became a sales tool for us, guys. Right? We'd be like, hey, look at this board. There'd be people deadlifting a couple of 100 kilos, people losing 5, 10, 15, 20 kilos, people at Tough Mudder. The milestone photo board was absolutely incredible. Then we would send all the birthday cards. Okay. So we would track whose birthday it is over the next 7 days, and we'd make sure they all get a personal handwritten card from our coaches. then every coach would send a minimum of 3 celebrating success cards, okay? Because we're working back up to, what was one of our values, celebrating success. So then they would have to send out 3 cards every single week as well, right? That celebrating success card would be maybe someone who, hit a PB, someone who lost some weight, someone who's like kickstarting their training and like doing really, really well, right? Celebrating success, whether it's big or small, can be different things, but we want to make sure that we're patting our clients on their back when they're doing a really, really amazing work within the gym, both physically, mentally, and emotionally, and they're achieving all these really cool things. Now, the next thing we'll do is we'll contact all the people who did 2 or less sessions during the week, because we knew, right, that anyone who did less than 2 sessions on average is going to cancel. They might cancel in 2 weeks. They might cancel in 2 months. We know they're going to cancel, right? So 3 sessions per week on average was our minimum and our benchmark. So we would get reporting. Everyone who did 2, either 0 sessions, 1 or 2, we would contact them, and our only singular goal was to get them booked in for 3 sessions during the week. We obviously had advanced tactics on that over time because we did it a lot. I'm not going to run that today, but if you ever want to go, hey, I think that contacting my clients who do under 2 sessions per week is a good idea, because it will improve your retention rate, is you can just reach out to me, and I've got some specialist videos on that. Then we'd also contact our weekly retention members from our list, right? So each trainer would look after between like 40 and 70 members. They would contact like all their members from their list that they need to reach out to, right? So we're doing a lot of retention work in there at the start of the week, and the team really like to do it together, right? To tick a lot of this stuff off. So, with the coaching model that we ran, it's obviously moving through habits and things that they need to achieve to reach their dream body, their dream fitness, their vision of where they want their health and fitness to be. So it was always progressive, okay? And again, I won't cover that today, right? But you need to make sure that you have amazing coaches in your facility who can get people results, right? And then what we'll do is we'll get all the great results from last week and all the milestones, and we'll do it for our weekly post, because we're going to be doing like a really cool weekly post for all of our members, right? Which covers what's happening around the gym and things like that. And then we want to make sure that we database and catalog those milestones and weekly results as well. And then, guys, to finish the meeting is we'll do some focusing on referrals, okay? So this would only take about 10 to 15 minutes because we've got all our client lists and stuff. But every trainer within our business would have to contact 5 members and ask them for a referral. Our referral bonus at the time was if they bring their friend in for a free 7-day pass and their friend joins, is they would get 2 weeks of free training with us, right? That's what we ran a lot, and it worked really, really well. Now, obviously, there's a flow for this, guys. Asking someone who's not attending the gym and getting super shit-ass results and is in a funk, you're probably not going to get a referral from them, let's be honest. So you're always targeting people at high points in their journey. People who have lost 5 or 10 kilos, people who are messaging you say how much they love it, people who are just like absolutely raving about the gym and they're in there 5 days a week, right? You've got to ask the right person for a referral. You've got to make sure you have your timings involved. And obviously, guys, we trained our staff incredible amounts on this to make sure they could identify the right people at the right time. And there's always a journey when asking for a referral, right? We need to ask people at the right part of their journey, which we would coach them on, but we would make sure that they ask at least 5 people for a referral. Then we would catalog the results. Did the person reply no? Did the person not reply? Did the person reply yes? Did their friend come in? There's a little bit of tracking metrics involved, right? And then we would make sure that our aim was to ask everyone for a referral every 8 weeks, as long as they hit all the green lights that meant it was okay to ask them for a referral. Whew. Okay. So guys, that covers through our meeting, and it's an absolute beast of a meeting. It is, right? There's a lot of things to cover, but I want you to have a think about that gym. So that was, that was from my old gyms that I owned named Co5. Think about how well that gym would be planned every week. Think about how much work that gym with like 4 full-time staff got done in a couple of hours compared to most of the average gyms, or maybe your average gym at the moment. Because there is a reason why all our clubs were above 300 members. And you can say, yes, maybe like, was it Facebook ads? No, it wasn't just Facebook ads. It wasn't just marketing. It wasn't just because, we're lucky. It's because of everything working in conjunction together, because of the marketing, because of the sales, because of the team meetings, and we're so well planned. And guys, I want you to make sure that you're running really effective team meetings within your businesses. I want your business to hit really high 6 figures or 7 figures, or at a minimum, earning an amount that you're really happy with, that you don't have to worry about money and you have your dream lifestyle. And as soon as you have a team, as soon as it's not just yourself, running really, really effective team meetings is going to be integral for your success. Now, I gave you a really big example of what you can run. You might take all of it, and I'd be honored if you did that. You might only just take parts of it, and that's okay as well, right? You want to just make sure that your team meeting has its own identity, its own flavor, that you make sure that you're getting the most out of it, right, for both yourself and your team, right? But you've got to make sure you run them effectively. You've got to make sure you're really well prepared for them. You've got to make sure that you give your team the right data, the right focuses for the week, right? Because we tried 20 or 30 different templates, right? And we used to run them in 2 different meetings. I said we used to run one on Monday, one on Wednesday. And our team's like, hey, let's just knock this bad boy over on Monday in a 2-hour block. That's what worked for us. Right? You need to find out what works for you, but you must be running a really, really effective team meeting. I want you to use this presentation, guys, as some inspiration, as some motivation to maybe start running that meeting, or to run your meeting a little bit better, because I'm sure you got a couple of ideas of what works really well for us. And I'm sure, you know, with your own spin and your own flavor, or maybe you just straight copy it, which is okay, you can add them in and they'll work really well for you as well. So guys, if you ever want to reach out to me, guys, probably best place to contact me is on Instagram, Jimmy_Pomponio. If you guys have any questions or anything, absolutely anytime. Always love to connect and chat with you guys. Have a really great day.